In this video, I'll be talking about restricted transportation problems. So here I have considered a problem where a lot of restrictions are asked in different parts, which are 1 to 4 that I've listed. The first question asks about there is no transportation from source S3 to destination D5. And the second question asks about exactly 20 units. Third question talks about at least, and the fourth question talks about at most. So in all, we are going to consider all the possible restricted transportation problem. But before we start the solution of this problem, one should be very clear with the northwest least cost method, Vogel's approximation method to find initial BFS. And we should be also very clear by UV method, which involves the loop and also involves the Zij minus Cij calculation to check the optimal solution. So in case if these methods are not clear, you can check the previous videos. I have added the link to the previous video in the description box. Now let's start solving the question, the first case. But before we start the first case, we also need to ensure whether the problem is balanced or not, because that's the first case that we must need to start. So if I add this supply, you see here, the supply is 170. This is the summation of AI. And if I add the demand, so that makes it my 220. The problem is unbalanced. And so we need to add a dummy source. And we see here the dummy supply of that source would be 50 units. So let's do now the first problem that we need to consider. In the first problem, the question asks that there is no transportation from source S3 to destination D5. So that means we need to consider that there is no transportation from S3 to destination D5. So once there is no transportation, this means that this cost D3 to D5, which is currently here 10. So this cost is not 10, but now this has to be kept as the high penalty M. We increase now this cost. So increase the associated cost, increase the cost, which is C35, very high. So very high, that means when are going to apply northwest or least cost method or Vogel's approximation method. So this means we are going to avoid this cell, especially in the restricted transportation problem. When it's a restriction, sometimes northwest does not, because here we do not see the cost. So sometimes this does not give us an appropriate idea. So I'll prefer to use either least cost method or Vogel's approximation method. You can try in this problem, if you solve this question northwest, then this cell will have some allocation. So this is not a very preferred method in particular for this particular questions. So considering this quantity as now M, we are going to find initial BFS using Vogel's approximation method. And I'm directly now writing the allocation using Vogel's approximation method that I have applied to this particular table. And I got the allocation as 40. 10, and then in the second row I got the allocation as 30, then I got 20, and in the third row there is a quantity 40 and 30, and then we have an allocation here 40 and 10. So that's the initial BFS. Now after the initial BFS, what we need to do is we need to apply UV method. For UV method, I need to calculate UIVJ. So we calculate UIVJ, and we know how do we calculate UIVJ. This is with the help of the basic cell. So I am considering now with the help of basic cell, I have calculated these. V1 is 15, V2 is 10, V3 is 13, V4 is 16, and V5 is 16. And then I'm going to check the net evaluation for non-basic variable, which I am writing in the same table. So if I calculate the net evaluation for the non-basic cells, so this quantities comes out to be negative. But there are one quantity that's going to come positive in this particular question. So let's see that this is 2. So this is positive. So once this is positive, and there is one more 1 here which is positive, and this quantity is minus M plus 21. So still it is negative because M is very high and we wanted to block this cell. And how do we block this? How did we ensure that for this particular cell, because there is no allocation, so for this cell X35 should be 0, and we wanted this forcefully, and to forcefully made it this, we have increased the cost to be very high. Now M is very high, so this means it is minus M plus 21 net evaluation, which means this is negative. So then it is minus 1, minus 6, and then we got minus 3. But still we see that there is a quantity which is positive here. Now once this quantity is positive, so I'm going to put a theta here. That's my loop. put theta here. So I'm going to see now where I can see the loop. This is the loop that we can see in this table. We start from plus, there is a negative, and then we have a plus and a minus. So we know what is theta. Theta is the minimum of the negative value. So negative comes at 30, 30. That's the allocation value. And because there is a tie, so one of the cell will become basic and one will become non-basic. So it's going to give us a degenerate basic feasible solution. So in the next table, I'm going to write now the allocation after the looping. So in the first column, now suppose this 30 comes in this position, and I am considering now, and I'm vacating now the other one, and I'm leaving here 0. So I'm vacating this, I'm leaving this as a non-basic cell, and then I'm left with a 40 quantity here. This is 20 plus 30, so that makes it 50, and the remaining are as it is 40, 40, 10, and then we have a 10 units here. And then again, now this is a new BFS, and for this again we calculate the UIVJ. So once we calculate U1, this is 0, U2 is 0, U3 is 3, U4 is minus 16, V1 is 15, V2 is 12, V3 is 13, V4 is 16, V5 is 16. So that's the total calculation, and for this if I now calculate these net evaluation, all of them come out to be negative. So I'm just going to quickly write now here, this is minus 1, this is minus 5, and I know how we are calculating. This is UI plus VJ minus CIJ. So this is the quantity that I'm calculating, and this is what I'm writing here in the box. This is minus 8, and this quantity is 16 plus 0, again minus 19, so this is again minus 3. We have minus 1, this is minus 2, this quantity is minus 1, minus 4, minus 3. So we see here all Zij minus Cij are less than or equal to 0. So we say current table is optimal. Current table is optimal. And because we have blocked that there is no transportation from S3 to D5, that is what we have already, and that is what we have blocked. This is M, and because of this high cost, there is no allocation now in this particular cell. And corresponding to this, we can calculate now the value for Z. The Z is the summation of Cij into Xij. So I'm going to multiply cost with the corresponding allocation. So if I look at the first row, so this is 40 into 16. So just multiply 40 into 16 plus the second row 15 into 0 plus 13 into 50 plus 16 into 10 plus the third row 30 into 18 plus 40 into 15, and the last row is 0 into 40 plus 0 into 10. So that's the dummy source that we have added. So it does not make effect in the optimal value of the Z, and this quantity is 2590. So the current solution is optimal, and if there is no transportation from S3 to D5, this is considered as the optimal solution of the transportation problem. Now in this second case, we want to find the origin. S1 supplies exactly 20 units to destination D4. And in this case, when we exactly apply D4, so we already know that how much is the exact quantity we want to transport, and in this case that means this quantity is not to be optimized, but rest of the problem needs to be optimized. So here what we'll start is, we'll consider X14 equal to 20 units. So once the X14 is 20 units, that means the supply which is available with us for the first source, now this quantity is 20 units available with us because already 20 units are gone, and also from D4 destination, this is now available with us is 20, and now we want to optimize this problem. So we do not want to send anything else in that cell. So this means instead of this 21, I am going to now consider the cost here as M, so that this particular cell is blocked. So in addition to this, we consider C14 as M. So block this, ensuring that there is no further allocation is going to come in this particular cell. So now Vogel's approximation method gives me allocation as given in this particular table. And we need to now check the UIVJ. So we need to check Zij minus Cij for non-basic variables. And for this, I need to calculate UIVJ. So basically, we need to apply UV method. So once we apply UV method, we get this table. And we see here, I have considered the UIVJ method as usual. And I have calculated all Zij minus Cij shown with this particular color. And they have been written in each column on this side, the entry. Now we see that sum of the Zij minus Cij is not negative. And here is the one that I'm putting theta in the cell where Zij minus Cij is most positive. So I'm going to allocate a theta here and then I need to search my loop. So it is clear that this is the loop. And then we start with a plus sign, we subtract, we plus and we minus. So what would be the value for theta here? So theta is the minimum of the negative allocations and the negative allocations are 30, 30. So you can choose any 30 and of course it is going to be a degenerate case. Earlier also we had a 0 in the basic feasible solution. So whichever cell you can vacate and one of the cell will be considered as the basic variable. In fact that variable will take the value 0. So in this case and I get now the table as this one and I have now here as the 0. You see here this is 0 and now this cell is now my non-basic cell. And then again I need to check for this BFS I need again to check UIVJ and hence I need to check Zij minus Cij. So again I will repeat the process for the calculation of Zij minus Cij. And even in this table what I see is that there is a positive quantity here and there is a positive quantity here also, the net evaluation. So again I'm going to choose most positive, so which is now here. So I'm going to put a theta and then I'm going to search for the loop again through the basic cell. So this is the loop through the basic cell and I'm going to put a plus, minus, plus and a minus here. And again what is the theta in this case? Theta is a minimum of negative quantity and negative come at 0 and 20. So the value for theta is a 0. That means 0's location is going to now change in the next table. So we get now the new BFS. And this is now the new BFS. And in this BFS also I am going to now check the UIVJ. So for the calculation of Zij minus Cij, I have calculated UIs and Vj through the basic cells. And we know once we calculate through the basic cell, let's now check the net evaluation for non-basic variables. You can see that all the Zij minus Cj are negative. So we may say now all Zij minus Cij is less than or equal to 0 for every I and j, and hence the current table is optimal and the optimal BFS has been obtained. So what are the basic feasible solution? You can see from here. So the basic variables are, we can simply write here, let's start reading from the first row. So we see here x12 is a basic variable, x13 is a basic variable, then in the second row x21, x23, and in the third row 31, and then we have x35 also as a basic variable, and in the fourth row we got x42 and we have x44. So these are the basic variable and the total count is back to m plus n minus 1. So there are 4 sources and there are 5 destination minus 1. So this count should be 8 and we have calculated 8 basic variables. Now to calculate z, what we need to do is we just simply need to multiply these xi's with the corresponding allocations. So we multiply xij with Cij. Also in addition we need to add the cost that we have already allocated, because in this question exactly some amount has to be sent from a particular source to a destination. So if I go back to my original question, so in that question we have already supplied x14 is 20 unit and this has been already supplied. So this is what we are not optimizing, but there is a cost associated with this. So what was the original C14? The original C14 in that question was 21. So this is what needs to be multiplied to this 20, and that, so m here was only considered so that nothing more can be sent to this cell. So that is only a part of the solution strategy. But in the objective function, this cost will again go back. So let's add this cost also in the objective function. So this means we have sent 20 units with the cost 21. And this total quantity makes it as 2290. So that is the optimal value for this second part. So now in the third case, destination D2 receive at least 10 units from S2. This means at least 10 units, that means X22 variable, which is going to be the allocation. This has to be at least 10 units. And because it is at least quantity, so we don't need to block the cost C22. This can be the original cost. We can work with the original cost. So if there is a possible allocation going to come in this cell, which is corresponding to X22 cell, we can welcome that, because the condition is at least, not on the upper bound of the limit. So now start solving this question considering that my X22 is 10 units. And also once we allocate this 10 units, we must need to subtract this 10 units from the supply and the source. But we don't need to block this cell. This is what now we need to start. So now let's solve this question. I find initial VFS again using the Vogel's approximation method. So once I apply Vogel's approximation method, I get these allocation and followed by the UV method. So once I have applied these, I'm going to apply now UV method to check whether this current table is optimal or not. So we see here the current table is not optimal, and hence it involves a loop. So let's look at what is the most positive Zij minus Cij, and here I am going to get a theta. This is theta, so this means I need to search a loop. So you can see here this is going to be the loop. So here I need to add something, minus, plus, and then minus. So this means in this case theta is the minimum of 10 and 20. So this is minimum of 10 and 20. So theta is 10. And in the next table, this is going to give me a new basic feasible solution, and I'm going to repeat the whole process for UV method also to check whether this table is optimal or not. Once I get this new BFS and I have calculated UI, Vj, and then have calculated the net evaluation for non-basic variables, still I see that there is a positive Zij minus Cij, this 2 and this 1, and the most positive is this one. So I'm going to put a theta here, and then I find a loop. So this is the nearest loop towards the basic cell. So you can back, this is plus, minus, okay, and then we form the new table as this one. So that's the new BFS. Considering what is theta here, considering the theta in the previous case is the minimum negative quantity. So in the previous case, theta is minimum of 10 and 40. So this means theta is 10. So the 10 will go here in the location of theta and subtract and adding in the other location. So we get this new BFS, and we see here that all Zij minus Cij, in this table all Zij minus Cij is less than or equal to 0. Hence this is optimal. And hence we can calculate the value for Z. So Z is the allocations multiplied by the relevant cost. Now the allocation, if I look at the allocations, 19 into 10 plus 14 into 30, then 15 into 30, and then plus 30 into the allocations are green circled quantities, 15 into 10 plus 10 into 60 plus 0 into 10, the last row, plus 0 into 40. So that's this quantity which is coming as m plus n minus 1 basic cell. But in addition to that, we have already given 10 units. So remember, we have given 10 units at least in the starting of the problem. We have already considered that X22 is 10 units, and we need to multiply this with C22 original cost because it was at least. So we have to see in C22, is there some more allocation comes up or not? The cost of C22 is 20 units. So let's see here. In C22 currently, there is no more allocation. In the optimal position, there is no more allocation. But the previous one that we have already given should be incorporated in Z. So 10 into 20. So that total quantity will become 2270. So that is the optimal solution for this problem. So this is the optimal value, and we know how to identify the basic variable. So the circles are the green one, which are the basic variable. So now in the Fourth part, source S2 supply at most 30 units to D3. That means this quantity allocation X23 should not be more than 30 units. This is the upper bound given to us. Once an upper bound given to us, it can take any value between the range 0 to 30. So that's the quantity that can be taken by X23. It can take any value belonging to this, including 0 also, because that's the lower and the upper bound. And we know that these decision variables are non-negative. Now, how to allocate this quantity? We have been given the 4 sources and we have been given the 5 destinations, D1 up till D5. Now, this particular destination S2, which is 60 units, so that's the second destination. Now, I'm going to split this into 2 parts. So, I'm going to write S1, S2 dash, S2 double dash, S3 and S4 with the same cost. With the same cost, the only thing that I'm writing this 60 as 30 and 30. So, this quantity I'm writing this as 30 and 30. So, and I'm also blocking the quantity D1, D3, D4 and blocking the quantity S2 to D3. So, this 30 and this 30 unit can go anywhere because it is at most, but this 30 should not go to this M. So, that means the choice for this S2 dash to D3 is at most 30 and this remaining 30 can go to these places. Okay, so the corresponding cost in these cells are same. The cell is splitted just to ensure that this condition is fulfilled. Now let's look at in the table how do we start solving this case. Now I get the table as this, and here we have S2 dash and S2 double dash, and you can see here the costs are exactly splitted up, the same cost, but here I have blocked this one because we want to see that this 30 units is at most possible supply that can go into this cell or in any other cell as per the method, but this 30, the remaining supply will not go at least in this cell, and that is how we have blocked at most. And now if I solve this question, if I solve now from this table onwards, solve by initial BFS by Vogel's approximation method. You can apply least cost method also or Vogel's approximation. I prefer to apply this because it makes me to reach nearest to optimal solution, and followed by UV method. So we get the next table as, so that's the next table we get. Now here is the next table, and in the same table I have applied UV method. So we see the green allocation, that is the initial BFS, and then I have calculated UIVJ. And once I calculated UIVJ, I get that this is the quantity where I get theta because this is most positive. So the allocation that you will see here, the net evaluation is 5. For the other cases, you can see that all of other quantities are either negative or smaller than this 5. And then we follow again a similar procedure. Now again, we get new BFS, check UIVJ and check for loop. Now, once we look at this table, we see all of the UIVJ. This provide me that Zij minus Cij is less than or equal to 0 in above table. All of them are negative in above table, and hence it is optimal, and hence this is optimal. So once this is optimal, now we need to calculate the value for Z. So Z is nothing but again multiplying cost with the allocation. So this is 14 into 20 plus 30 into 13 plus this 30, and we see here this whole 30 units is actually coming in this. Even the question was at most, so these 30 units has completely gone. That is the best optimization because we also see here this cost is minimum. So it was expected that in this cell all the 30 will go up. Had there been somewhere else a least cost, so this 30 would have been gone there. So this 30 into 13 and then plus 30 into the next quantity, which is 15. So 15 into 30 plus then we got 20 into 0 plus we got 15 into 10 plus 10 into 60 and then 0 into 10 and plus 0 into 40. So the last cost, this whole quantity will give me 2250. So that is the optimal answer for the at most case. So in case we have a problem of at most, we must need to split them into bifurcated cell, and then we need to multiply them with the original cost. So basically these two are not different cell, this is same cell, so this 30 is in the same cost. Okay, so that is the same cost actually. So this is how we get the corresponding Z, and we can solve the restricted transportation problem depending upon which cell we need to block.